everyone. Welcome back to the ASPA podcast. My name is Karen Neckelman. I'm the marketing coordinator. And today we are with Roshanna Griffin. She is the Assistant Vice President of Clear Concepts Consulting Group. Hi, Roshanna. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Roshanna, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I am originally from Springfield, Massachusetts, and migrated here to Georgia almost 9 years ago. I have about 14 years of HR experience that is specific to school systems. I have also worked in the private sector. My current role at Clear Concepts is to oversee what we call our no touch HR technology suite, which includes electronic onboarding, contract management, and verification of experience. And I also do additional consulting with our clients, assisting with process improvement and technology implementation.
Okay,
My
thank you for
current
that.
role, yeah, thanks.
So today we're going to discuss navigating changes in HR technology
Yes.
and what are the strategies for public school systems. So the first question, what do you think are the most common challenges HR departments face when implementing technology changes in public school systems? How can they be addressed effectively?
Well, there's definitely a number of challenges that these departments face. I think one of the more common ones is going to be resistance to change from
Mhm.
the actual staff who are going to be doing the work or who are going to be most impacted by these changes. Um, for example, we have a client that has been working with us for some time, and they have staff members that have also been longstanding with them. At this point, they feel like they're, subject matter experts and they have total command of their job. And so those folks tend to really experience fear of the unknown or have concerns about increased workloads. We also suggest that in order to combat some of that, the leadership really focuses on transparent communication, involve their team early on in the process to get the buy-in, and also to have a deep knowledge and understanding of how they can uncover both problems and solutions with implementing the new technology. And
Mhm.
this participation will, I think, help with boosting the confidence of that team, but also gives them a sense of ownership and trust.
Okay, so do you think budget is a big challenge as well?
Oh, yeah. There's no way around that. We know, these school districts annually review budgets. Sometimes there's cuts, sometimes there's increases. But nonetheless, leadership has to consider what funds and resources are going to be available to them in regards to implementing new technology and fulfilling these wish lists that their department may have. So it's crucial to understand what's necessary versus what's nice to have. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's worth taking the time to identify things that can be done relatively easily and affordably, and those that are more longer range and sometimes may require some additional resources to complete. But oftentimes, I think that these districts will find that there are already solutions that are in place that just aren't being used to capacity that may be able to fill in those gaps. We have shown many clients how to find hidden funding in benefit programs or how to find grant money to use to finance some of these changes. A great example of that was during COVID. There were opportunities to use federal funds for immediate technological needs. And the creativity made a big difference in trying to finance these changes.
Mm-hmm. And about changes, what do you think? What are some additional strategies HR can use to mitigate resistance?
I think the big one is going to be planning. That's going to be key in all that transpires. We recommend anticipating some level of resistance, but planning will help to make it fun and engaging. For instance, leadership could possibly host like a lunch and learn to introduce an idea and get some initial feedback. Another effective way is to involve the team by engaging in maybe a visual process improvement exercise. One of our larger clients tried this with their hiring process, and we mapped out everything from a vacancy of a position all the way through to the first pay run roll. And by mapping out that process, they were able to identify gaps in redundancies and highlight how the upcoming changes could help to bring improvement. A different approach could be that the team could create a wish list. And once that list is compiled, have your team collaborate on prioritizing those initiatives and identifying if anyone is interested in being the go to for that particular process or the owner of that process or that technology. So, this gives your team the opportunity to volunteer to step up and own the responsibility rather than being told their responsibilities are changing.
So it's having like an open communication with them.
Absolutely.
So, do you have like any tips for making a good transition?
Yeah, so there's a number of different ways that you can communicate, and some of those channels could be kickoff events, it could be meetings, it could be videos and emails. Some people are engaged in different ways, so utilizing multiple channels of communication will be helpful. I think that HR leadership has to keep things very clear, concise, and positive. Focus on the benefits of the change and actively listen to the concerns of those employees who are directly affected. But it's also going to be critical that they frame these changes as enhancements rather than replacements, showing how they can build on their existing strengths. Um, the change can also be a catalyst for providing professional development opportunities, whether they're from internal or external resources. For instance, there's a major change for I-9s and E-Verify that's coming down the pike. And so you could possibly give your team an opportunity to attend maybe a webinar through Homeland Security about those changes.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, I think what's going to ultimately package this um, change together nicely for the team to receive in a way that's positive is that if you recognize and celebrate small wins along the way, that will further build the positive momentum. And then you could treat your team to lunch for reaching milestones. You can give prizes for trivia games, make it fun.
Mhm.
Um, but really, you just want them to have a full understanding of the benefits and functionality of that new technology.
So, and once you have decided to adopt that new technology, how do you think HR can assess whether the changes implemented have been successful, like in a positive way?
Yeah, so I think the team must have clear and measurable goals. Capturing metrics and tracking progress against these goals is important. For example, you can analyze a survey maybe that you have given out, look at performance data. Um, you can identify, the time savings and reduce the task completion time by implementing these change, but actually being able to have concrete evidence of those changes is going to allow you to leverage that data analytics to measure the progress against your stated goals and make necessary adjustments along the way. I think that HR leaders are increasingly using more data analytics to drive decision making and leveraging that information to help with deciding whether or not a technology is going to be the best way to go or a new process is the best way to go. But they can collect that data through performance metrics and provide valuable insights. I think regular review meetings to evaluate that data and make adjustments is going to be important, making sure that you're keeping your strategic plan up to date. And through this data driven approach, the HR team can ensure that the changes are positive in improving efficiency and employee satisfaction. So that can be done through like initial surveys, it can be done through post implementation surveys, whatever works best for that particular district or department will have to be determined by its leadership. But we worked with a client, for example, that had a really high level of turnover, and wanted to just figure out a creative way to decrease that turnover rate. And they believe that educating those employees about their total compensation, like right before assigning annual contracts, would reduce that turnover. And total compensation statements was implemented through our company, but we were able to deliver personalized statements to every employee, and the results were as expected. The number of vacancies dropped from 37% compared to the previous year, which was huge for them.
So do you think that adopting HR technology goes hand by hand with, I mean, it's related to recruitment and retention, more
Absolutely.
successful?
Absolutely. What happens is sometimes we get so inundated with the bells and whistles and the pretty things that we think technology can do, and we forget about the impact, or yeah, the impact on employee satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that keeping that at the forefront, which is why any change that you're making must align with your strategic plan. We have to focus on the entire spectrum from recruitment all the way through retention.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So, Roshana, I want to thank you for sharing that with us today. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
And do you want to share your social media or something where people can reach out if they have
Sure.
questions?
Sure. So you can always visit our website at www.clearconcepts.net. And you can also find us on LinkedIn. We are increasing our social media presence now that we are growing our team, and we have someone that can manage that. But we'd love to connect with you, love to answer any questions that you may have. We are really expanding our offerings and services. And as a consultant, we love to be challenged. So we'd love for anyone to come to us and say, hey, do you think you guys may be able to find a solution for this? And we would gladly look into how we may be able to meet your needs.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for talking to us
You're
today.
welcome. Thank you so much. Have a
Take
great
care.
one. Take
Bye.
care.